Welcome to this video lecture. In this video lecture, I will continue the topic of correlation analysis using R. In the first two parts, we discussed about the correlation analysis as well as what is covariance, what is causation, what is correlation analysis, how we can perform the correlation analysis using Excel. And then in the second part, we discuss how we can perform the parametric correlation coefficient in R and how to interpret them. Similarly, we discuss about the non-parametric correlation coefficient. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the biserial and the point biserial correlation coefficient using R, as well as the partial correlation, or you can say the part and partial correlation coefficient using R. So first of all, let's discuss what's the point biserial correlation and what's the biserial correlation. So as we know that when we are talking about the correlation, that means we are talking about to check the relationship between the two variables. So when we have seen the parametric correlation coefficient and the non-parametric, the key point over there is we can apply them the parametric correlation coefficient when both the quantitative variable having the follow the normal distribution, whereas the non-parametric we can apply when the data do not follow the normal distribution. Okay, whereas the point biserial correlation coefficient as well as the biserial correlation we can apply in such a situation when one of the variable is a continuous variable, whereas the other variable is binary, or which we can say the dichotomous. So now the question is how we can differentiate between the point biserial as well as the biserial, that is based on the dichotomous variable's nature. If the dichotomous variable is a true dichotomous, means such as gender, okay, that is basically male and female. So that is a true dichotomous. There is only the two categories, right? Or we can say the type of the drug. If we have only two type of drugs, okay, then we can say that it is A or B. Then in such case, we can apply the point biserial. Whereas if this dichotomous variable is not a true dichotomous, it's an artificial dichotomous, mean we have made a continuous variable in the form of dichotomous, such as we can say the marks of the student. So that is naturally it's a continuous variable, such as students having the marks of 30, 31, 29, 40, 45, 50. So if I say that less than 30, less than or equal to 30 would be considered as fail, and more than 30 would be considered as pass. So we have artificially made this variable in the form of the dichotomous. In such case, we should apply the biserial correlation. Okay. Similarly, I have given the example of you can say depression level. Okay. Usually we have measured it in a continuous, but we can classify whether it's a high depression level or a low depression level, right? So that's why in such cases we can apply the biserial as well as the point biserial correlation coefficients. Okay, so but the main point is if we talk about the point biserial correlation, that is actually based on, or you can say this is a special case of the product movement Pearson correlation coefficient. So for that, let's see what kind of the data we are going to use, and then we will discuss how we can implement them using R as well as how we can interpret the results. So the data set is available in this data file, which is look like this way, where time is a continuous variable that is measured in weeks, basically that sorry, in hours. Okay, that is basically the number of hours that the cat spent away from the home. Okay, similarly the second and the third variable is basically a categorical, or you can say that dichotomous variable, such as 0 1, right? Where the gender 1 is represented with male and the 0 represented with the female. And then record is basically the opposite of the gender, okay, where we have represented 0 with the male and 1 is a female. So why we have done this, we will show you, especially when we are going to apply the point biserial correlation coefficient. But right now, we will use these two variables in order to calculate the point biserial, because we know that one of the variable is a continuous, whereas other variable is a true dichotomous variable. So for that, the research question is in which we are going to answer. That is there a relationship between the gender of a cat and how much time it spent away from the home? Okay, so we are going to answer this question. So this is a true dichotomous variable, whereas this is a continuous variable. So we can apply the point by serial correlation. So how we can do that in R? So let me open the R Studio. So in order to apply this point by serial, first of all, I am going to access this dataset using this following command, where read.csv is going to read this data file, which is available in the same folder in which I have created this, you can say, RStudio project, where header true means the first row heading would be considered as the name of the variable, and then I am going to store that entire data frame into the variable called get data, and then I am running the correlation normal, the Pearson correlation. Okay, that is with the help of gender. So you can see that the answer is 0.37. Similarly, if I run it with the help of time and record, okay, the answer will be the same, but only the difference is between the sign. Okay, so let's discuss what's the meaning of this one. Like, as I have using the gender, I will get the answer of this correlation. If I'm using the record, the answer will this. Okay, the difference is, whereas in gender variable we have represented 1 with male, okay, and 0 with female, whereas in a record variable 1 is representing female and 0 is representing male. So if you remember, when we will talk about the Pearson correlation coefficient, we will say the correlation coefficient tell us about the direction and the strength of the relationship between the two variables. Whereas when we are talking about the point bias serial, we should ignore the direction of the relationship, because it all depend on the dichotomous variables value, or you can say the coding, how you are coding that dichotomous variable, whether one is representing male or whether it's zero representing male. Okay, so that's why we should ignore this sign, and we should only check whether this relationship, which is 0.37, is the significant relationship or not. Okay, that is only we are getting the strength between the two variables. So as we can see that the p value, okay, if we can see that, so as we know that h naught, that means there is no correlation, whereas the h1 there is a correlation between the two variables, and we are using right now two-sided correlation coefficient. We are testing that because this p value, okay, this p value is less than the alpha value, which is 95, which means the alpha would be 0.05 if our confidence interval is 95%. Because this p value is less than 5%, so we will say there is a significant relationship between the gender of the cat and the time spent away from the home. Okay, which means one of the gender is spending more time out of home compared to the other, right? So that means we, based on these p-value, we are saying that there is a significant relationship between the gender of the cat as well as the time spent away from the home. So if I square this correlation, as we know that the answer would be equal to the coefficient of determination. So how we can interpret this one over here? That would be interpreted as that's a cat's gender variable counts 14.3% of the variability in the time spent away from the home. Okay, so that would be the interpretation of the coefficient of determination, which is indicating how much variation one variable can explain in the other variable. Okay, so as we have seen that one of the variable is a gender, in which we want to check whether this variable has a relationship between the time spent away from the home. So this is a categorical variable, whereas this is a continuous variable. So that means in such situation we can also apply some other statistical techniques as well in order to answer the similar kind of answer. So what are those techniques we can apply in this particular situation? Independent sample t-test as well as the linear regression analysis with the dummy variables. So which we will discuss in details in the coming videos of these lecture series of the multivariate analysis using R. So I hope you got the idea under what condition we will apply the point bias-serial and how we can interpret these results. So now let's talk about regarding the bias-serial. Although the bias-serial correlation coefficient we are applying in such a scenario when one of the variable is a continuous whereas other variable is artificially a dichotomous variable. Okay, as I have given in the example of such as the marks of the student and we convert them into pass or fail. Similarly, depression level, it's a continuous variable and we convert them into high and low. So we artificially convert the continuous variable into the dichotomous variable. So in such case, we can apply the bias-serial. But over here, only for the just practice purpose, I am applying on the same data set, that is the gender of a cat as well as the time span, I'm applying bias-serial. So remember that actually we can only apply the point bias-serial, but just for the practice purpose, we are doing this. So in order to calculate the bias-serial correlation coefficient, so I'm using a package that is called as polycore. Okay, so that is over here. So if I run this one, so first of all, if you do not have this package, you can go to install and then you can search this package. Okay, okay, that is over here. You can click install. So once it's installed, so you use this particular package library polycore, or you can use require polycore in order to call this particular library, and then you can run polyserial. Okay, that is the name of the variable, which is the cat data is the name of the variable in which we have the entire data set. With the help of this dollar sign we can access a particular variable, similarly the second variable, and if I run this one I can get the answer of the biaserial correlation. Okay, so now similarly the interpretation will remain same as we have interpreted the point biaserial. So let me calculate the r square. So what is the r square? That would be 0.2255. So again the interpretation remains same as we have discussed in the point biaserial, that is cat gender count for 22.56 of the variability uh, is spent in the away from the home. Okay, that's the variability, that much the variability that the cat jetter can explain in the time spent away from the home. Okay, so now let me show under what condition, what kind of the correlation coefficient we can apply. So like we haven't discussed these one. Okay, but we have discussed if the one of the variable is ordinal and the other one is also ordinal, then we can choose one of them. Okay, either we can apply Spearman rank order correlation coefficient or the Candles coefficient. So both of them you can apply, but I have told you earlier that so Candles-Stock coefficient you can apply in such a scenario when you have a small data set or you have the high ranked data. That under that condition you can apply candles. Whereas if one of the variable is interval or the ratio scale variable, or you can say the continuous variable, whereas the other one is the nominal, then over there we should apply the biserial or a point biserial. But if the nominal scale, which is also known as the dichotomous variable, is the artificial dichotomous, then we can apply biserial. Whereas if it is a natural dichotomous, then we should apply the point biserial. If one of the variable is the interval or a ratio scale, whereas the other one is the ordinal, so again we can apply Spearman's or the Candles coefficient, right? Similarly, if both the variables are interval and ratio, then we can apply Pearson product movement correlation coefficient if the data follow the normal. If data do not follow the normal, then we can apply bootstrapping or even Spearman's or Candles coefficient as well, right? Okay, now let's talk about the last type of the correlation, which is the partial correlation or the part partial correlation. As we have discussed earlier, so we can apply the partial correlation or part partial correlation coefficient when we are interested to find out the relationship between the two variables by controlling the effect of the third variable. Okay, or you can say the the effect of the third variable we should held constant. In such scenario we can apply the partial correlation coefficient, right? So let me find out the correlation between using the same data set, that is an anxiety, and as well as the exam, whereas we will make the Rivian as a control variable. Okay, so let me first of all access the data set. But before that, in order to apply the partial correlation coefficient, we need a library called ggm. Okay, so I'm calling this library. I have already installed this package. So now I am calling a data set, that is the exam anxiety data which we have used earlier. And from this data set, I am accessing three columns, that is exam performance in anxiety and revise. Okay, and storing into a variable called exam data 2. Now, in order to apply the partial correlation, so the command is, that is pcor. And what's pcor do? First of all, you have to tell the two variables in which you want to find out the correlation, whereas the third variable is representing a control variable. So after the two variables, you can show them as much as control variable you want to represent. So right now we are interested to find out the correlation coefficient between the exam performance and anxiety by controlling the effect of the revision time. Okay, and comma, and then we have to tell in which variable this data set is available, that is for in exam data 2. So if I run this command, and again, so we are getting the partial correlation coefficient. So in order to find out the r square, so I am just taking the square of this one, as well as in order to perform the test. So how we can do that? We can use this particular command, where this pc is basically indicating the variable in which we have calculated the partial correlation. Okay, that is basically indicating the partial correlation coefficient value. Okay, whereas one is representing how many variable you have controlled. So we have only controlled one variable, and how many observation your data have, or you can say what is the sample size. So that is 103 data points we have in that data set. Okay, so where it come from 103, let me show you this view, and let me show you this data set. Okay, so if you can see from here, we have 103 numbers, right? So that's where the sample size is 103. So if I run this one, so we are getting this result. So let me interpret this one. So how we can interpret? So this is the partial correlation coefficient, and this is basically the coefficient of determination. So this, which is basically indicating that the exam performance account only 6% of the variation. Anxiety can count only 6% of the variation in the exam performance by controlling the effect of the revision time. So that is basically how you can interpret it. Okay, so similarly the test statistics, because the p-value is less than the 5%, so we can say that this relationship between the exam anxiety and the exam performance is a significant relationship, right? So I hope it's clear regarding how we can perform the Pearson, as well as the non-parametric experiments, candles, bootstrapping, biserial, point biserial, and partial correlation coefficient. So how we can do that in R. So now let me discuss how we can report them in our research. So like the first example is that is basically from the exam performance data. So we are saying that the exam performance was significantly correlated with the exam anxiety variable, and we are representing the value of R, okay, in order to show the direction. Similarly, we are representing that the time spent revising revising the exam syllabus having this particular value, and we are saying the time spent revising was also correlated with the exam anxiety, and we also reporting the p values and showing them that all the p values are less than 1%. Okay, so this is how we can report it. Similarly, from the second data set, I am saying that the creativity was significantly related how well the people did in the world's biggest liar computation, and I'm reporting the value of the correlation as well as the p-value. Similarly, we have also done with the Kendall's coefficient. This is Spearman's, this is Kendall's correlation coefficient. So if you want to report in a tabular form, so how you can do that? So we have represented all three variables, and the diagonal values is always equal to 1, and we are in telling them what is the correlation value between the exam performance and the exam anxiety. Okay, similarly, what is the correlation coefficient value between the exam performance and the revision time? Whereas these three stars are indicating that the p values are less than 1%. Okay, so if there is a 2 stars, so you can say that it is less than the 5%. Okay, so this is how you can represent this is 1%, and then this is less than 5%. So this is how you can tell them whether it's a significant relationship or not. So as there is a stars, so if there is no star, that means that between those two variables there is no relationship. If there is a 1 star, so the p-value is less than 5%, 2 star less than 1, and then less than 0.1% is that is basically indicating that it is the significant relationship. So over here we are indicating the number of values, okay, or you can say the sample size. So I hope it's clear. So that how you can report this correlation coefficient in your research as well. So thank you so much. See you in the next video.